Until Dawn begins with something simple. 8 friends return to a mountain lodge 1 year after 2 of them went missing. It's supposed to be a memorial, a fresh start, something like closure. But it doesn't take long for things to shift. The mood is uneasy from the start. Forced conversations, old tensions, a lot of pretending everything's fine. Then the doors won't open, people start disappearing, and before long, it becomes clear that this night was never going to go as planned. It plays out like a horror movie. Bad decisions, long shadows, something out there in the dark. But there's something about the way it all unfolds that made me want to look a little closer. The choices, the timing, the way people break down or pull through. And by the end of it, I couldn't help but wonder what it all adds up to. So that's what we're gonna do. Take a closer look, see what we missed, and maybe figure out what this night was really about. The story of the game begins not with death, but with cruelty, a prank cloaked in laughter that spirals into tragedy. Hannah Washington is humiliated by her friends on a snowy night atop Blackwood Mountain, tricked into thinking someone she cares for wants to be alone with her. When she realizes it's all a setup, she runs into the darkness. Her twin sister Beth follows, desperate to protect her. What unfolds is brief and brutal, a frantic chase, a blinding storm, and a final choice at the cliff's edge. Whether the player chooses to let go or try to save Hannah, the result is the same. Both sisters disappear into the abyss. The game's first major decision makes something clear. Your choices matter, but they may not always save you. A year later, in a bizarre attempt at closure, or perhaps avoidance, the same group of friends returns to Blackwood Mountain, invited by Hannah and Beth's brother, Josh. Chapter 1 opens with Sam cautiously navigating the wooded path to the now abandoned lodge. A totem introduces the supernatural motif and the butterfly effect mechanic. Small actions can lead to future disaster, or salvation. The cast assembles, each carrying their own baggage. Chris, anxious and loyal. Ashley, observant and cautious. Emily and Jessica, polar opposites locked in a passive-aggressive war. Matt, the peacemaker caught in the crossfire. Mike, the charming instigator. And Josh, the grieving host with a smile that doesn't quite reach his eyes. Beneath the surface pleasantries lie buried tensions. Old relationships linger, new ones are fragile, and petty rivalries simmer. In Chapter 2, we learn that the lodge holds more than just memories. Clues begin to emerge. Newspaper articles, family portraits, ominous warnings that hint to a deeper story behind the sisters' disappearance. You are subtly encouraged to explore, to snoop, to investigate. Yet every small decision, shooting at a squirrel, peeking at a text, has consequences. The butterfly effect means cruelty might be punished, curiosity might backfire, and seemingly innocuous actions might ripple through time. Mike and Jessica venture into the woods, seeking solitude. Their flirtation is interrupted by broken paths, hidden dangers, and increasingly frequent jump scares. Meanwhile, back at the lodge, Chris, Sam, and Josh attempt to start a fire, and discover that even getting the water running is an ordeal fraught with tension and hidden threats. Each moment tightens the screw. Locked doors, whispering voices, and strange objects pointing to something, or someone, watching. In Chapter 3, the tone shifts from uneasy reunion to full-on supernatural thriller. Chris, Ashley, and Josh break out the Ouija board, because when your friends vanish under mysterious circumstances, summoning spirits seems like the next logical step. The board spells out messages from beyond. Help, Hannah, Beth, and now the line between psychological trauma and paranormal intrusion begins to blur. Mike's journey with Jessica, meanwhile, turns darker. A dead deer blocks their path, something unseen stalks them, and after a few fake-outs, Jessica is violently pulled away. The camera lingers just long enough to remind us the real threat has finally arrived. Ashley and Chris stumble upon a hidden message and find clues pointing to a deliberate threat. Their investigation is cut short when they're ambushed by a masked stranger, escalating the situation from haunting to home invasion. Back in the psychiatrist's office, a framing device growing more sinister with each appearance, the player is asked increasingly invasive questions about fear and morality. The answers appear to shape the game's progression. The boundaries between character, player, and observer are beginning to collapse. Chapter 4 begins in chaos. Mike is chasing Jessica through a collapsing mine, forced into split-second decisions. Whether she lives or dies is entirely dependent on how quickly you react. It's not a guaranteed save, even if you do everything right. When Mike finally catches up, Jessica is either barely alive or already gone. And I think either way, she unceremoniously drops out of frame. Elsewhere, Chris awakens in a room and, after a stroll in the snow, finds Josh and Ashley bound to a grotesque buzzsaw rig. The masked man forces Chris to choose, save one, sacrifice the other. It's a moral crucible with no good outcome. Regardless of the choice, Josh dies. The trauma, however, is ours to carry. Haunting, permanent, and unavoidable. The friends regroup, wounded and paranoid. The threats they thought were supernatural are now terrifyingly human. By the end of the chapter, the game has shed its skin. What began as a teen slasher has morphed into something colder, more psychological. Trust is fraying. Choices are becoming increasingly complex. The psychiatrist's office, the interstitial therapy sessions, grow darker and more reflective of our fears and actions. The game has stopped asking if you're scared. It's now wondering what you're hiding. Chapter 5 starts with Mike, our beloved himbo turned amateur ghostbuster. He's chasing a hooded figure through a derelict sanatorium. Yes, sanatorium. A word that screams, you're gonna find at least one corpse with a missing jaw. Mike slinks in through a basement window and quickly turns into a scavenger-hunting, wolf-befriending action hero. Eventually, he accidentally starts a fire that causes an explosion. Meanwhile, Emily and Matt are on their own couples therapy hike, discovering the radio's fried, the cable car is out, and the fire tower looks like a decent substitute for hope. The journey? Less romantic. Emily nearly plummets off a cliff, and they're swarmed by a gang of deer. Because at this point, why not throw in woodland intimidation? Elsewhere, Sam's just trying to finish her spa day in peace, but no, her clothes are gone, and she's being stalked by a masked lunatic. Enter the horror movie chase scene, complete with don't move prompts and slasher level suspense. And then, back to Dr. Hill's therapy office, which continues to evolve. Chapter 6. Matt and Emily reach the fire tower and attempt a DIY distress call to anyone who might care. It's a rare moment where Emily might prove to be the most competent person on the map, until of course something cuts the tower lines. Cue collapse, panic, and Matt dangling like a human wind chime. You might try to save Emily, you might decide, nah, and go solo. The game judges you either way, and if you didn't keep that flare gun earlier, Matt might get yanked into the darkness by unseen forces. The moral of this game? Hoard everything and trust nothing. Meanwhile, Chris and Ashley wander into what feels like a VR escape room from hell, creaky floors, creepy dolls, and Hannah's diary. After some solid relationship tension that may or may not affect anything, the pair get knocked out again and wake up in yet another morality test. Chris is told to shoot Ashley or himself. If you've been paying attention to the totems, maybe you know it's fake, but if not, your decision will have consequences. We end this chapter once again in Dr. Hill's nightmare office. Now the voice is accusatory, personal. You're not just a player anymore, you're a suspect. Or maybe the experiment. Chapter 7 splits into 2 tracks, Sam's psychological scavenger hunt and Emily's descent into the mines. If Sam escaped earlier, she now gets a guided tour of the Psycho's workshop, a place full of files, photos, and serial killer scrapbooks. If she didn't escape, she skips straight to the reunion with Mike, looking traumatized. Either way, the mask comes off, and the Psycho is Josh. Yep, Josh Washington, our grieving friend with access to way too much stage blood and surveillance equipment. Turns out, this was his twisted idea of a prank, but here's the thing. There are levels to this, and none of them are funny. Mike and Sam deliver the world's least helpful intervention, while Josh waxes poetic about justice and trauma. Depending on clues, Sam might piece together what's going on, but Mike's patience wears out long before that. He decides it's best to lock Josh in the shed, and the group splinters again. Meanwhile, Emily is somehow still alive after the tower collapse, because she is apparently immortal. Her journey through the mines is full of dusty corpses, rusty doors, and what the hell is that sound moments. She finds clues about a 1952 mining tragedy and evidence that something else might be lurking down there. A presence, a hunger. She gets attacked again, captured again. And by the end of this chapter, we realize Josh was never the final boss. He was just the opening act, the red herrings, the puppet master, the trauma avatar. But the real monster? Still hiding in the dark, watching. Chapter 8. Emily's luck continues to nosedive, literally, when a fall drops her deeper into the mine, bruised, alone, and justifiably furious, as she's met by a stranger who tosses a flare bag like he's an Amazon driver with a tight schedule, and then he ghosts us before offering so much as an explanation. In any other setting, she'd call security. Here, she keeps walking. Inside the tunnels, it's more of the same, falling debris, strange noises, and the creeping realization that something is following her. Not someone, something. She's chased through claustrophobic corridors by a fast-moving, nightmare-fueled creature. If she survives, it's by inches, but she doesn't get out clean. She's bitten. Let's just say this will be revisited. As the group regathers, the stranger shows up again. Yes, the same guy who treated Emily like a hot potato with a flare gun. He's been hunting Wendigos, he explains. Creatures born from cannibalism. The worst-case scenario of survival instinct gone rabid. And thanks to Mike leaving Josh behind, Chris and the stranger make a run for a rescue mission. That mission lasts all of 5 minutes. The Wendigo makes a violent entrance, the stranger gets beheaded, and Chris is left running for his life. Whether he lives or dies depends entirely on your quick-time reflexes and whether Ashley thinks he's worth unlocking the door for. Inside, the tension explodes. Emily's bite becomes the witch trial of the night. Mike points a gun at her. Ashley fans the flames.
It happens. If it bit you, you're gonna turn into one, and then you're gonna turn on us. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
The group fractures again, and depending on how diplomacy has played out so far, Emily may not walk away from it. But then someone reads the journal. Turns out, a bite doesn't transmit the curse. It's just a bite. So if she died because of it, that's on you. Meanwhile, Mike is still out there, alone, with a lighter and a death wish. And back in the game's eerie psychological undercurrent, the psychiatrist's office decays further. The line between memory, delusion, and truth is gone. We're not in therapy anymore. We're inside a mind cracking under pressure. Chapter 9. Mike returns to the sanatorium, this time not for answers, but for vengeance. Armed with a shotgun and the emotional stability of a lit match, he charges into the ruins. The wolves are gone, the chapel's been destroyed, and the silence is too clean to be empty. Deeper in, Mike finds a stockpile of bullets because apparently the sanatorium moonlights as a military depot. He loads up and presses on, right into Wendigo Central. 1 is bad, 2 is worse, multiple? It's a bloodbath waiting to happen. If Mike befriended the wolf earlier, he's not alone. If not, I'm not sure. I didn't go down that path. The Wendigos descend and the place becomes a haunted maze of scream or you're dead. Mike navigates abandoned labs and broken cells, uncovering twisted artifacts from 1952, a government cover-up, miners lost underground, and the birth of something inhuman. Cannibalism didn't just corrupt, it transformed. Meanwhile, Jessica claws her way back into the plot, alive if you saved her. She fights through the dark, and if Matt is still breathing, they reunite. It's not a love story, it's 2 people stumbling into each other, bonded by trauma and poor decision-making. Back at the lodge, what's left of the group, Ashley, Chris, Emily, Sam, they decide to go into the mines. They're looking for survivors, but mostly they're just trying to do something. The mine doesn't care. It wants blood. Ashley hears voices. If she investigates, she gets trapdoored into Wendigo territory. Curiosity doesn't just kill cats here. It kills everybody. Eventually, the group hits a literal wall. Sam climbs out. Everyone else sent back to the lodge because that's worked so well before. Then there's Josh. He's still down there, alone, hallucinating, unraveling, haunted not just by what he's done, but by who he's become. Chapter 10. Josh has officially lost the plot at this point. Alone in the dark, he's drowning in delusions, pig heads, ghostly sisters, imaginary therapy sessions. He's not trying to escape anymore. He's searching for closure in a place that only offers endings. Sam and Mike descend further, uncovering the final horrifying truth. Hannah survived. After the fall, after Beth died, she lived, starved, and fed. Her transformation wasn't just physical, it was psychological. Her journal spells it out in brutal clarity. This wasn't just folklore, this was family. They end up finding Josh. He's incoherent, drifting between regret and denial, and when he breaks off alone, he meets her, Hannah. If he knows the truth, she doesn't kill him. She drags him into the dark, a macabre reunion wrapped in monstrous instinct. If he doesn't, she finishes what the mountain started. Meanwhile, Jessica and Matt play the final game of hide and don't die. If they stay still, stay quiet, they might slip past the Wendigo. They're not heroes, they're just people trying to make it to morning. Sam, ever the survivor, climbs back to the lodge, soaked, freezing, determined. The final totem shows her what's coming. Wendigo's inside. Time's up. She sprints back to the lodge. Inside, it's chaos. The Wendigos are hunting, including Hannah. The only hope now is restraint. They don't see you if you don't move. The group holds still, barely breathing. Sam inches toward the switch, the final kill switch. If she rushes, people die. If she waits, there's a chance. She waits. And when the time is right, she flips it. Flames engulf the lodge, the mountain roars, the monsters burn, and the horror, at least for now, is over. Helicopters arrive with dawn's broken light. Survivors, if any remain, are pulled from the wreckage. And Josh? If he's still alive, he doesn't get rescued. He gets transformed. A new Wendigo. A new secret for the mountain to bury. Okay, it's over. The credits rolled, the snow stopped, the cabin's a crater, and whoever was going to live made it. I should feel relieved, accomplished, but instead I'm sitting here turning it over in my head, like a puzzle missing just enough pieces to drive me crazy. Was survival really just about quick reflexes? Press the right button at the right time, hold your breath long enough, don't trip on a rock, and you live? Sometimes it felt like that. Sometimes survival felt stupidly simple. Blink wrong and you're dead. But then I looked back at how it all played out and gave it some thought. I did a run where everybody survives and one where everybody dies. When Mike didn't make it out, he died lighting the fire that killed the threat, saving anybody left. Sam, who felt untouchable all game, slipped at the worst possible moment and paid for it. Emily, loud, sharp, infuriating Emily, didn't make it because Mike pulled the trigger. Jessica, who barely escaped the first time, got dragged back under later when almost no one was watching. Ashley made one bad call, heard the wrong voice, and it cost her everything. Chris tried to be the hero, and no one opened the door for him. Matt fell, struggling through the wreckage alone, and no one was there to catch him. So, some of them died because of bad timing, some of them died because of bad choices, and some of them, it feels like they died because the game wanted to remind me who they were, or maybe who I thought they were. Because the more I think about it, the more it feels like survival wasn't just reflexes. It was something quieter. Did they die because they stayed trapped in the versions of themselves we were first introduced to? Or did they die because I never gave them the chance to be anything else? It's not a clean answer, it's not supposed to be. Maybe that's why the game lingers after it's over. Not because of who made it out, but because of what their survival, or their death, might actually mean. Well, let's dig in, piece by piece, thread by thread. Let's figure out what their endings were trying to tell us. Maybe we'll find it's not just about who lives. Maybe it's about why. Let's start with Matt. The guy who starts the game as little more than a varsity jacket with a decent jawline. The guy who gets dragged into the middle of the group's drama like someone who accidentally sat at the wrong lunch table and is now too polite to leave. Early on, Matt's role isn't about what he does, it's about what he reacts to. Emily barks orders, he nods along. Mike flexes, he backs down. Even when he tries to set a boundary, it's half-hearted at best. There's no real pushback, no grand rebellion, just a quiet, tired kind of patience. Like someone who's used to being overlooked and is almost resigned to it. But when the mountain turns against them, something interesting happens. Matt doesn't break, he doesn't panic, he keeps trying. Quietly, stubbornly, almost pathetically. When the deer swarmed them at the cliff, it could have been the end, and I'll admit, I kinda wanted to see the comedy version, the one where Matt gets yeeted off a cliff by a pack of deer. But the real turning point came later, when the radio tower collapsed. Dangling above the abyss, Emily screams for help, demands it really.
Stop talking! I can't take it!
Stop yelling at me and let me work this out, okay?
No, you stop it! Why do you question every little thing I say? I'm goddamn sick of it!
And Matt has a choice. Stay loyal, cling to the role that's been scripted for him, or save himself. And here's the brutal truth. If Matt tries to save Emily, he falls, plunging deeper into the mines, straight into the dark heart of the mountain. And down there, he doesn't just get lost, he gets caught. Dragged by a Wendigo, hooked through the jaw like a piece of forgotten meat. No last words, no dramatic rescue, just another body swinging in the shadows. No one even notices he's missing. And I think that's what hits the hardest, the nothingness of it. Because Matt didn't deserve that. Not by video game logic, not by slasher movie logic, not by basic morality. He wasn't reckless, he wasn't cruel. He didn't ask for chaos. In fact, he was one of the few who tried to bring some kind of sanity to the night, and he gets a rusty meat hook for his trouble. If he chooses himself, he jumps clear, lives. Not because he's heartless, but because he finally refused to let someone else's expectations be the end of him. So he survives into the mines, finds Jess, somehow still breathing, and the two of them limped out of the mines together. Not triumphant, not cleansed, just alive. And maybe that's the point. In a game where survival usually rewards big personalities and reckless choices, Matt's survival feels like its own kind of rebellion. Not by becoming someone else, but by finally choosing himself over everyone else's demands, surviving the role the game tried to trap him in from the start.
I was right there, and I could have done something. I tried to do something. It wasn't good enough.
What about Jessica?
Hey, porn stars! Gonna need these.
Porn star?
I'd pay to see it.
Gross.
Hey, I'm sorry to kick you out like that. No worries, man. Oh, I'm sure you'll find a way to entertain yourselves.
Mm-hmm. You have fun with the peanut gallery.
Oh, I almost forgot. Gotta fire up the generator so you can see where you're going. It's dark out there. All right. Roger that.
I think Josh was flirting with me.
Okay. You want to invite him up with us?
Wait, really?
What? No.
Jessica was never supposed to make it, at least not if you asked the tropes. From the start, she's the flirty blonde with the laugh too loud, the dead girl walking, the one horror stories use for a cheap scare before the real plot begins. And the game doesn't just hint at that, it practically draws a map. Her early scenes are pure setup, snowball fights, bedroom teasing, the promise of a scandalous night interrupted by a creepy noise in the woods.
Hey! Yeah, pricks! That means you! I know you're out there! The fuck are you trying to do? You want to ruin our fun that bad?
We've seen this movie. We know how it ends. She's dragged through the window, blood smearing the frame, her scream swallowed by the dark. Gone, just like that. Mike chases after her, but when he does find her, she just disappears again. This time not from the story, but almost from memory. The game moves on, the characters move on. You might even move on. Until hours later when she stumbles back onto the screen, barely alive, pale, bloodied, human in a way she's never been allowed to be before. And depending on what you do next, she either limps towards survival, or the game finishes what it started, letting a Wendigo break her apart like she was never meant to be anything else. And that's the cruel brilliance of it. Jessica's survival isn't about fighting back with a shotgun or delivering a badass one-liner. It's about enduring. It's about surviving a story that already wrote her off, hiding when everything told her to panic, crawling when everything told her to give up, breathing through the fear when everything told her she didn't matter enough to try. Because when Jessica survives, it isn't redemption, it's refusal. Refusal to be just another pretty corpse. Refusal to be the punchline the game, and maybe even the player, expected her to be. But when she dies, it feels too easy, too neat, like proof that the stereotype won, that we didn't look closely enough, that we didn't care enough. Jessica wasn't supposed to make it, but if she does, it kind of forces you to rethink everything you assumed about her, and maybe about survival itself.
Carried and taken and...
What did you see?
I don't know.
Alright, moving on to Ashley.
Whoa, hello. Somebody's getting a little friendly. And not in the friend zone kind of way. I might need to check the expiration date on their big breakup.
Hey, whoa. Sorry there. Sorry about that, Ash. I didn't mean to scare you. Well, I did mean to scare you, sort of scare you, but not like for real scare you.
Gosh, oh my gosh!
Hey, wow. Man, I'm really sorry, Ash. Damn.
It's okay, it's fine.
What are you looking at? See anything juicy with that thing?
It,
Let me check it out.
no, sure, go ahead. Knock yourself out, I guess.
Ashley sees everything. From the very start, she's the one watching from the sidelines. She's the quiet observer, the awkward smiler, the one who catches the glances other people miss. But being the watcher comes with a price. Ashley doesn't just notice things, she might obsess over them. Underneath the surface, Ashley is one of the most paranoid characters on the mountain. She's the first to believe the Ouija board, the first to whisper about spirits, the first to jump at every tweak and shadow. And when Emily gets bitten, Ashley is quick to fuel the fire about quarantine, about infection, about whether they should be taking chances with someone who might turn into a monster. So, Ashley's story isn't about survival of the fittest, it's survival of the most suspicious. And that suspicion cuts both ways. The game gives her her biggest test with Chris. 2 chairs, a buzzsaw, 1 choice. Chris can try to save her or himself. And even though nobody really dies in that moment, not yet, something breaks between them. Because no matter what Chris chooses, Ashley remembers. Not just with her head, with her heart. With that small growing knot of distrust that has been winding tighter since the first scream of the night. So when Chris later pounds on the lodge door, begging for his life, everything Ashley saw, everything she thought she saw, rushes back. And depending on your choices, maybe she hesitates. Maybe she leaves him outside. Maybe paranoia wins. Ashley isn't a fighter, she's not a strategist. She's someone trying to piece together a nightmare in real time and deciding over and over who's safe and who isn't. And if she dies...
Hello? Who's there? Anybody? Jessica! Is it you?
It's not because she wasn't paying attention. It's because she trusted the wrong thing at the wrong time. That's the gut punch of her death. She opens a trap door because she thinks she hears Jessica. Because even after everything, the spirits, the monsters, the lies, she still wanted to believe someone could be saved. And the Wendigo tears that hope out of her, fast and merciless. So if she lives, It's not because she stopped being afraid, it's because she learned how to tell the difference between a real threat and the ones in her head. Because she didn't let fear make the final call. Ashley's survival isn't loud or flashy, it's quiet, earned. It's a testament to what it takes to live in a story like this. Not brute strength, not blind trust, but sharp eyes, a sharper mind, and just enough hope left to believe it's worth surviving for.
I heard Jessica. I don't know how or why she was down there, but I know I heard her.
Okay, now let's look at things from Chris's perspective. Chris walks into the game really as comic relief. Quippy, awkward, the guy with the glasses and the banter and the tragic inability to say the right thing to Ashley.
Hey, Ash.
Hi, Chris.
So, how are you doing?
Good, but a little cold. Think I could use some time curled up by the fire.
Yeah, that does sound pretty nice.
He's the kind of character you want to root for. He's not a bad guy, just a little performative, a little too sure of himself, a little safe behind jokes. But then the game does what it does best. It forces him to grow up, and fast. There's that moment, the prank fallout, the guilt, the let's all be friends again vibe. Chris wants to make it right, but let's be honest, he's not here for emotional heavy lifting. He's here to fix things by making dumb jokes to ease the tension. He's not ready for actual horror. And then we get to the saw trap. 2 chairs, the buzzsaws, Chris with the controller, Josh playing puppet master, and here's the beauty of it. No matter what you choose, you lose. If Chris chooses himself, it's noble, but Ashley is haunted by the idea that he was willing to throw himself away. If he chooses her, she might survive, but she'll remember it wasn't even a debate. Either way, Chris is handed a decision he wasn't built to make. A moral test, and he's grading his own paper with a blindfold on. And later, when he's sprinting through the woods, huffing and panicking, chased by something he can't even comprehend, we get the test results. He reaches the cabin, Ashley's inside, it's just a door, just a lock, but the weight of everything he's done rests right here. If he did make a choice, she doesn't open it, Chris dies screaming, not in a blaze of glory, not with a punchline, but with a door in between him and the one person he thought might care enough to let him in. It's brutal, and honestly, it fits. Because Chris's death isn't about reflexes, it's about consequences. He tried to be the nice guy, but in key moments, he fell short. And Ashley saw it. She saw the way he hesitated, the way he played it safe, and when it was her turn to choose, she remembered. Now, if you play it right, if Chris protects Ashley in the basement, if he doesn't point the gun at anybody, if he makes it to that door, and Ashley still sees something in him worth saving, then he survives. And it means something. Chris living isn't about being smart, it's not about being fast, it's about growth. It's about shedding the safe, silly persona and facing danger without a punchline. It's about rebuilding trust the hard way. So when he survives, it feels like a promise kept, like maybe the guy who just wanted to impress a girl finally became someone who deserved her trust. And when he dies, well, it just feels like a ghost story told around a campfire, about a guy who thought he was the hero until the door didn't open.
Ash, come on, this thing is right behind me, please, let me in! Ash, what are you doing?
I think it's Emily's turn.
No one wants in on your territory, honey.
Excuse me? Did you say something?
Oh, did you not hear me? Was your sluttiness too loud?
Sounds like someone's bitter she didn't make the cut.
Yeah, it's all a big cattle call with that dreamboat. Congrats, you're top cow.
Cuts real deep calling Miss Homecoming a cow.
Come on.
No, shut up, Matt.
Emily walks into the game with a target already painted on her back. She's bossy, she's sarcastic, she's mean even. To Matt, to Jess, to just about anyone who looks at her sideways. She's the character you're supposed to hate. And the game knows it. It leans into it. It hands her the sassiest lines, the biggest attitude, and waits for the hate to start bubbling. Because Emily isn't just a character, she's a dare. So then the horror kicks in, the bodies drop, The jokes stop. Something wild happens. Emily doesn't collapse. She thrives. Not morally, not dramatically. She doesn't turn into a better person or even a nicer one. She stays prickly, critical, impatient. But she also climbs a frozen radio tower in a blizzard. She limps through the dark alone, while monsters stalk the walls. She screams, sure, but she screams while running, while climbing, while fighting to survive when almost everyone else could already be dead. And the game? The game punishes her for it. Emily doesn't make a fatal mistake. She doesn't lose her nerve. What she does is survive the mines, haul herself back to the lodge, bloodied, bitten, half frozen, and walk straight into a firing squad of her own friends. Because she's been bitten. Because fear is louder than reason. And Mike, our big brave action hero, might pull the trigger. And in that case, Emily can die not because she failed, but because the people around her decided she had. That's the twist. Her death isn't about weakness, it's about perception. It's about the narrative everyone thought they were living in. The one where the loud girl must secretly be the real threat. Now, when you trust her, when you back her, when you see her for what she is, the most ruthlessly competent survivor in the group, it redefines everything. Emily's survival isn't a reward for becoming likable. It's a rejection of the idea that she ever had to. She doesn't earn her life by being nicer or quieter or softer. She earns it by refusing to break, by being exactly who she's always been. Difficult, demanding, unapologetically alive. Emily's whole story dares you to look past the stereotype, to question the reflex that made you want her dead in the first place. Because if Emily makes it out, it's not just survival, it's defiance. And if she dies at the hands of a so-called friend, it's not just a tragedy, it's a reminder that sometimes the real monsters aren't the ones clawing at the doors. They're the ones holding the gun.
He held it right up to my face, right here, right in front of my nose, and he could have shot me. He almost shot me, the prick. I mean, you go out with a guy for however long and you think you know him, but man, this one really takes the cake.
Now Mike starts out as that guy. You know the one, cocky, confident, a face made for cologne ads, the ex-boyfriend who doesn't get the hint. He's introduced mid-prank, grinning through disaster, and for the first act of the game, he's still coasting on charm and dumb luck. But when the horror starts chewing through the group, Mike pivots, hard. While others scream, Mike moves, into the woods, into the mines, into an abandoned sanitarium crawling with monsters. He stares down Wendigos like they're just another hazing ritual. He becomes the de facto protagonist, the guy who's doing something. And because of the way he does it, with confidence, with initiative, we believe him. We want to believe him. But Mike's brand of heroism has a cost, and the game never lets you forget it. Let's come back to Emily. She crawls back from hell, bitten, and Mike, big on instincts, short on facts, decides she's a threat. Not because of anything she's done, because of what she looks like. Infected, dangerous, contaminated. So he pulls a gun. And this moment matters, because it's not about saving anyone, it's about control, about needing to do something, no matter how wrong it is, about fear dressing up in hero's clothing. Mike's heroism was always about momentum, about being the one who moves first, shoots first, acts first. But when fear eats through the glossy exterior, all that's left is someone desperate to stay in charge, even if it means killing a friend. Now, in the final showdown, Mike faces death not because he messes up, but because someone else does. If Sam, your most agile, most composed survivor, fails to stay perfectly still while the room is filling with Wendigos, a Wendigo lashes out. Mike gets tossed. Now wounded, he fights to hold everything together long enough for the others to escape. If he dies, it's not because he couldn't fight, it's because he trusted someone else, and it didn't work out. Now if he survives, it's not because he threw a perfect punch or pulled off a one-liner at the last second, It's because he did something harder. He waited. He trusted. He stood still and let someone else finish the story. His real test was never about bravery. It was about restraint, about letting go of the need to be the one who saves everyone, and instead becoming part of the group he spent so long leading from the front. So his death? A reminder that heroism isn't bulletproof and survival doesn't always reward the guy with the fastest reflexes. His survival? It's a quiet surrender to the idea that being strong sometimes means letting others be strong too. Mike starts the night thinking he's the main character, and when he makes it to the end, it's because he finally realizes he's just one part of the story.
He's out of his fucking mind. He wanted to hurt us. Okay? And I thought he was the one who attacked Jess.
And now we've reached Sam. Sam walks into the game with all the makings of a final girl. She's nice, she's grounded, she's probably the only one who packed practical shoes. While everyone is busy flirting, fighting, or falling apart, Sam mostly stays out of the splash zone. When we first meet her, she's tagging along with Chris, watching drama unfold like a tourist at a zoo. Matt, Emily, Mike, Jess, everyone's throwing elbows for attention, and Sam, she just keeps walking. She's polite, she's supportive, she laughs when appropriate, but she doesn't get involved. And that's the theme. When the drama dies down, Sam moves on to take a bath. When the masked stranger crashes her spa day, she runs. Not fights, not confronts, just evades. When she reconnects with Mike and the others, she helps process the fallout of Josh's big reveal. She's there, she's vocal, but again, she's not steering anything. She's part of the conversation, not leading it. Even when Emily's bite sparks a full-blown witch trial, Sam tries to keep things from burning down. She's the voice of reason, cautioning Mike to think twice, but she's not the one grabbing the gun. She's observing, intervening, just enough. Then the group heads underground, and somewhere along the way, Sam gets separated. I don't really remember why. Maybe she took a wrong turn, maybe fate just likes irony. Either way, she ends up alone when the real endgame starts, and that's when the story finally demands something of her. In the lodge, with the Wendigos closing in, Sam faces her only real test. Stay still. Don't flinch. Don't panic. Don't do anything. For a character who spent the whole night surviving by stepping around the chaos, it's a brutal final irony. Survive by stepping into it. Face it head on. Trust herself not to move when everything in her body is screaming, run. If she fails, she dies not because she was reckless, or cruel, or stupid. She dies because after a whole night of staying smart, staying calm, and staying just out of reach, she's finally caught. It's not a loud death, it's not a dramatic one. It's just a simple, heartbreaking collapse at the finish line. Sam's story isn't about dominance or leadership or redemption. It's about survival through observation, and how sometimes even your best instincts aren't enough. And when she lives, it feels inevitable. Of course Sam survives. She's the level-headed one. But when she dies, it feels like losing the last shred of normalcy in a night that already tore itself apart. Because if Sam can't make it out, what hope was there for any of them?
You need to listen to me. I don't care if you believe me or not. Doesn't matter because you will. You need to go down to the mines.
What's in the mines, Sam?
I've seen what's down there, and I'd give anything to unsee it.
And now we finally reach Josh. From the start, Josh is the center of everything, by choice and by design. The brother of the missing twins, the host of the infamous reunion at Blackwood Pines, and the mastermind behind the prank that kicks off the horror. But while the other characters are being hunted by monsters, Josh becomes one. Not through rage or ambition, but through pain. He starts the game trying to keep things light, joking, smiling, grinning through clenched teeth. But something's always off. Too eager, too performative. And we quickly learn that Josh is holding back a tsunami of grief over his sisters, Hannah and Beth. Grief that curdled into something darker. The infamous psychiatrist segments hammer this in. Those surreal therapy sessions with Dr. Hill, they're not real. They're fractured mirror pieces of Josh's mind, split between guilt and denial, and they slowly unravel his psyche like a frayed thread. Dr. Hill starts off clinical, cold, then judgmental, then mocking. Eventually, the voice turns against Josh entirely, speaking with distorted fury, accusing him, gaslighting him, becoming Hannah's voice. It's not a therapist anymore, it's his conscience turning on him like a rabid dog. Josh's breaking point isn't physical, it's psychological.
Very good. Every one of you, you got my name. And after all you've been through, good. I mean, how does that feel? Right? How does it feel? Do you enjoy feeling terrorized, humiliated? I mean, panicked? All those emotions that my sisters got to feel 1 year ago? Only guess what? They didn't get to laugh it off. No, they're gone.
His big revenge prank was never about justice, it was a coping mechanism. He couldn't accept the loss, couldn't accept that the others moved on, so he traps them in a fake horror movie, hoping to make them feel what he felt. That loss, that fear, that helplessness. But when the real monsters show up, Josh becomes prey, and then something else. This is the twist in his story. If Sam doesn't find Hannah's journal, Josh dies, cruelly and definitively. While trudging through the murky, half-submerged tunnels of the mines, mentally unraveling, he's ambushed by a Wendigo. There's no cinematic grace here, no final words. The creature grabs him by the head and crushes it between its hands like a piece of fruit. It's sudden, brutal, undeniable. And maybe that's fitting. A man consumed by guilt, quite literally consumed by the monster born from it. No symbolism, just silence. But if she does find the journal, Josh gets a different ending. Not a better one, just different. This time, when the Wendigo finds him, it doesn't kill him. They recognize each other, because this Wendigo isn't just any monster. It's Hannah, his sister. And what she does instead is arguably worse. She drags him away. And in the game's final stinger, if you stuck the landing, you're treated to a quiet, horrifying shot. Josh, slumped in the dark, munching on some food, he's begun the transformation. He's not dead, just lost. A man who's no longer a man. It's not survival, it's mutation. A grotesque inheritance. So what does it all mean? Josh's story doesn't end with a heroic sacrifice or a moral victory. It ends the way untreated trauma often does. Swallowed whole, devoured from the inside, and spat back out as something unrecognizable. Whether he dies or mutates, there's no clean escape for him. His survival is a warning, not a reward. A mirror held up to the worst case scenario of guilt left unchecked, of grief that curdles into madness. In a game full of monsters, Josh is the only one who becomes one. And not because he's evil, but because he couldn't forgive himself. His ending doesn't ask you to judge him, it dares you to understand him.
Take word from you.
Hey, Josh?
You can't tell me what to do. You can't
Josh?
tell me what to do
Buddy?
anymore. You can't tell me what to do. Oh, okay. I trust you. I trust you. I trust you.
Alright, let's put it all together. For me, this game looked like just another horror story. Blood, snow, jump scares. But underneath all the shrieking and sprinting, something smarter is happening. Something colder. Because here, survival isn't just about quick reflexes or dumb luck. It's about whether you can break the role you were handed before the story even started. Matt was the nice guy, the emotional support boyfriend, dead weight on someone else's mission. But when he finally starts thinking for himself, when he acts not out of fear but conviction, he earns a way out. Not because he's strong, but because he stops being a passenger. Jessica was the sexy blonde, horror movie canon fodder. But she survives not through plot armor or pity. She endures, and her survival isn't a fluke, it's a rejection of the trope she was cast to die in. Ashley is the brain, the watcher, the one who hesitates. But fear corrodes her caution, turning thought into panic. And when the voice in the minds calls to her, pleading, familiar, she has to trust something. Not her instincts, not her friends. Just a page in the stranger's journal, warning her what's real and what's bait. Ashley doesn't survive by being smart. She survives by trusting what's true, even when it doesn't feel safe. Chris was the comic relief with a savior complex, but when it counts, the joke stopped landing. Survival doesn't reward charm, it demands real courage. Chris lives only when he decides to be more than the guy pretending to be brave. Emily was the one you were supposed to hate, and her survival depends on you, not her. I hate to admit it, but she's smart, fast, prepared, and still, whether she lives often comes down to whether you could see past the stereotype long enough to let her. If she dies, it's not because she failed, it's because someone else pulled the trigger. Mike was the hero, the action lead, the man with the gun and the plan. But Until Dawn breaks him down, over and over, until all that's left is a choice. Keep playing the role, or finally stop. He only survives when he learns to hold still. Sam was the final girl, strong, nice, athletic, but she's not exempt. Her survival hinges on doing nothing, not fighting, not fleeing, just holding her breath while the monster stares her in the face. It's not about strength, it's about stillness. She doesn't make it because she fit the mold, she makes it because she rewrote it. And Joshua Washington? He never had a role to escape. He was the tragedy baked into the bones of the story, the hurt no one could save, the mask that eventually slipped. While everyone else fought to break their scripts, Josh was already lost to his. So what's the real story behind who lives and who dies? It's not just about jump scares or quick time events, or who you decided to trust at the last second. It's about whether a character could break out of the role they were shoved into and become something more. For me, that's the secret buried in the snow. And while I haven't seen the live action adaptation yet, that's what I'll be watching for. Not just who survives, but how, and whether the story still dares to test who each character is. I want to give thanks to Supermassive Games and the team behind Until Dawn for building something that looks like a slasher, but cuts much deeper. Until Dawn doesn't punish weakness, it punishes certainty. The certainty that you were only ever what the world decided you were, and by the time you realize it, the game's already over. Thanks for watching.